In this video, we're going to be looking at the S&P 500. We're going to be looking at the NASDAQ at these explosive moves today to see how much further through they might have, where we should be targeting, and whether or not this is nothing more than a dead cat bounce. We're going to be looking at levels on gold as well as silver, Bitcoin. Also check in on the DXY. We're going to be doing that right now in this video together. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. This is Jordan with Conquer Trading and Investing. We're going to be starting here on the S&P 500. Just a small recap, by the way, just a small 30-second recap. This over here, after the first week of August, after we hit all our take profits, I got neutral on the equity markets and they got away from me. We had about another 8-9% extension before coming back down just as quick. You could see this is where we've picked up over the last week, looking at the equity markets as they're back into play now. The risk to reward has greatly improved. It was just on Monday during the live stream over here where we said anyone short the market as we came down into this area of support, this trend line, rising trend line over here of support, the horizontal support at 33.40. This is where we said you should look to take profits. We spiked up from there and then rolled back over. It was yesterday where we talked about now that we're touching this trend line over here, anyone looking to buy the markets expecting a big move if we resume upwards. I know a lot of you are now long over here. Not only that, you're long with your stop loss locked into break even. This is a free trade right now. I think that we have more room over here to extend upwards. You did see a fair amount of profit taking the last half hour of trading today, but the S&P is up 1.8%. That profit taking was appropriately done so, but there's no reason here. There's no reason here to exit the trade. In my opinion, where I'm looking for this move to extend to is up into this area over here. This trend line over here coming in right now at 34.87, and most likely even to this one over here, the one right above it, right over here at 3,500. 3,500 is actually the level that I believe this move has the potential to extend to. That's where I would be looking to watch how price reacts in this area over here and look to take profits if we're able to get over there, especially on any rollover or rejection. Now, I'm not trying to say this is going to be the top at all. I just think that if you're able to extend that far, that's the place to look to take profits, because from there, what I expect is some type of retracement, and we'll be monitoring that. The next place to look to get long on the equity markets. And that might be the moment. That trade might be what takes us back to test and or break the new all-time highs. Now, it is quite possible that this is nothing more than a dead cat bounce. Now, it's not looking like that at the moment. The risk to reward was here. Once we touched down to our prime trend line over here, that's when this became attractive again. It is possible. Tomorrow, by the way, forward looking on the calendar, we have the ECB. We'll talk about that when we look at the DXY. But next week we have the FOMC. That's a big deal. The market's going to be focused in on what the Fed has to say, specifically during the press conference, to see whether or not Powell introduces anything new to the markets over here. We'll be watching that closely. Right now, things look pretty good off of this test of the trend line over here and resumption upwards. NASDAQ leading the way today. NASDAQ up 3%, a little over 3% today. You can see right now this trend line over here. I'll make it I'll highlight it a little for you right now. Just make it a little bit clearer for you so that you could focus in on it as well. You could see that we have so far come back in and are testing that. A resumption off of there. I do believe that we make a higher high, a higher swing high. By the way, do notice on the NASDAQ, we are making lower swing highs so far. Look over here. Here's your first lower swing high. Here's your second lower swing high. And we have not yet taken that out. That's why it still remains. You have to be hyper focused right now. This could be a dead cat bounce. I am not leaning in that camp whatsoever, but if it is a dead cat bounce, I assure you that all of us are going to be there to pounce on it because we're watching for it. Okay? What would that mean? That would mean us going ahead and taking out this trend line over here. Not going to play if we start making lower lows and we lose this trend line over here. I'm not going to be taking any or looking to sell because technically the market is still very bullish. Technically, it's very bullish. We would have to wait for a major technical break. Right now, that is down over here, getting below this trend line. That's coming in overnight, right? Just call it overnight's low over here. But it's coming in right now at 3,300. 3,300. We break below, then we're going to be looking. Probably we'll get a pretty steep follow through, but we're looking for that bounce and retest and resumption down. That's where we'll be looking to attack. Always be aware of the other side of your trade. Always be aware of where you're wrong. Right now, I think that we have some follow through over here. Everything looks like it's holding up and pretty well, actually. The DXY, let me move forward over to it. We've seen a retrace down. It's still quite undecided. I do see this broadening wedge that's developing over here. Now that the main line right now is coming in at 93.83, this resistance over there. And why we're below it, you know what? So, some of you don't like when the market's not clear. Rarely do you have a crystal ball to be able to have clear direction. Now, we love when we're trading within the sweet spot of the trend. We love it, right? It's easy, but it's not always like that. Sometimes you got to work for it. That's what's going on right now with the dollar. That's what's going on right now with the dollar. It's not clear. We're kind of in no man's land. Whoever doesn't like to hear that, sorry. This is where we are. We have the ECB tomorrow, right? The press conference starts at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time. Watch out for some volatility. And then after that, it's just 1 week later, we have the FOMC. That's the bigger deal. The market's going to be more focused on the FOMC. We'll continue to monitor this day to day. Everyone should have and continue to have a very firm grasp on it. But until we break not only back into this channel, here's the channel. That's the upper trend line. That's the lower trend line. Until we break back down into that channel, at that point, we could have a little bit more of, let's say, a little more certainty of the continued dollar weakness, but it doesn't end there. You still have this trend line. This was resistance all the way going up to the beginning of July. For 2 months, that was resistance. That now could act as support. If we break back into this channel, you have to be hyper aware of what happens over here into that support. It wouldn't be until you broke below that trend line that we are then looking to test the lows and break below. Nothing easy about it. We're still looking for that counter trend move on the dollar to develop. We have not yet got any indication that it's occurring. We've actually kept a lot of people out of chasing things right now. All right, that's an ongoing situation developing. This morning, if you watch the live stream, you know exactly what's going on with gold. You know exactly what's going on with silver. If you haven't, after this video, do go ahead and watch this morning's live stream. It is a good one. You could see that we were focused right over here at the high of the day is 1951. We called that the 1950.88. 1951. I said between 1950 and 1952, that is resistance. This trend line over here that started down over here at the beginning of June, this trend line over here, that now could provide resistance to the upside. We also had horizontal local resistance right over in that area. Now we're not looking to fade that at all. You have to watch there though. Where the base case is that gold is able to break above there. Gold is able to break above there. Now, that's where we ran into trouble. We have not yet been able to bust above. Watch out if you do get a rejection and a resumption down. At that point, then really look for this level over here at 1930 to hold. That would be bullish. You'd be putting in higher lows over here, higher lows. That would be very bullish for gold. And then we would be looking at 1976 resistance and see if we could take that out. If we do, watch what's going. By the way, they're close to coming to some type of piecemeal agreement, some type of stimulus to help out. That's just a taste of things to come once we get through this November election. Whoever wins, whatever side, they need to help the people. They're going to be there at that point to help the people. Silver looking a little bit more bullish over here coming off. This is the line we've been looking at. Keep focusing in on it. I have it over here. You could see it at $26. And why we remain above there, this bullish structure on silver just remains very firmly intact. Yesterday, while everyone was screaming Chicken Little, the sky is falling, we stepped in here with some clarity as we were in these important levels, keeping everyone on the right side of the market. And that's all we could do. That's all we can continue to do, is offering that clarity. Trading is not always easy, and there are no crystal balls. It's all about risk management. It's all about having a strategy, edge upon edge upon edge, layering them all together. And then over time, you're the casino. Look at Bitcoin. People don't like to hear this. It's 50-50. It's a coin toss. I don't know which way it breaks out of this blue box. I do know if it breaks down, that into that 9,200, 9,100, that's the level. You should have some orders waiting, and it might only be a wick down into that level. There will be a lot of buyers leaning in over there. I do know if we break to the upside over here and clear 10,570, if we clear that resistance over there outside of the top of the blue box, you have a lot of traders caught on the wrong side here. You still have a lot of people short trying to close that CME gap that will add fuel to the fire. And we could be targeting getting back into this channel over here pretty quickly. That price right now overnight is coming in at 11,267. That's where Bitcoin is. There's nothing you could do about it. Sometimes you're not trading in this sweet spot. That's it right now. There are no crystal balls in trading. All we can do is continue to unravel the charts. We could do our analysis every day. We could do our best to keep ourselves on the right side of the trade and stay with the trends. Stay with the trends. This looks good overnight. S&P looks good overnight. I'm expecting a further extension. I would love to take out, first of all, you could see that little bit of resistance over there, right? Starting over here. Then you could see that was support and then resistance. That's a level that we need to take out. You could see that is also that trend line resistance right over there. That's the last swing high. I believe we're going to get up there. I believe we're coming up there. This is the area that we are targeting. If we get up there, I believe that's the place to take profits, get neutral again, wait it out. We attack when it's clear, and we stay on the side when it's not. That's what we do. So I appreciate you all spending this time with me this afternoon. It's a mellow update because that's where we are. That's where we are. That's a good place to be. We'll be looking tomorrow across all of FX after the ECB meets. We'll see if anything's setting up that we could take advantage of overnight going into the London session the next day. Thanks for spending this time with me. I do appreciate it. I appreciate the comments. I do try to read them all. They are important to me. If you're taking the time to watch this video, if you're taking the time to smash this like button, I thank you. Thanks for being here, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow.